Just like we had seen, the main oppressor in these cardiovascular diseases is alongside our arteries. These arteries being clogged by the cholesterol plaques is the main oppressor. And in this cholesterol plaque, just like we had seen, it mostly starts with the inflammation and the oxidized free radicals, and they start the injury to our vessels. And once these vessels are injured, then the platelets add on the clog, start the clogging, and then from that thrombus, the bad fats as they are loitering in the arteries, that's the LDL cholesterol, then the omega 3. So then they then attach on the clog, and it eventually forms a big plaque, together with the fibrin also adding in the clog, and calcium at a later stage can also add in the clog, eventually forming and a very firm and hard plaque, which actually makes the vessel stiff, and it impedes blood flow, actually partly contributing to the hypertension and limiting the blood flow. Actually, when it comes to essential organs like the brain and the heart, that's how it can eventually turn into actually stroke because of totally the blood flow being blocked, and then getting an acute heart attack in case if the blockage is really affecting the heart. So meaning we really need to do something about these cholesterol plaques in our arteries. But when you look at which actually perfect remedy can do us this, the perfect remedy, you look at the other side in the hospital, what's mostly used is the statins. And you look, the perfect remedy should be without side effects. But look at the statin. The statins are actually bringing lots of side effects. The fact is, lots of side effects associated with the statin. And these side effects include the muscle pains. People on statins really come with lots of muscle pains, and it blocks coenzyme Q10, and this is a component which is very important in energy production in our bodies. Statins also somehow affect our nerves, and eventually, actually, in the long run, they don't actually decrease your risk of stroke, but they can actually increase the risk of stroke. Because imagine if you stop the statins, because what are the statins doing? They are just blocking cholesterol production. It means anytime you stop the statins which are anti-cholesterol, it means the cholesterol will actually be at very high levels the moment you stop them, and it means someone will actually be at an increased risk of stroke the moment he has stopped them. So now, where exactly is really the perfect remedy? So the perfect remedy for unclogging these blood vessels, this is a remedy that the Japanese have actually been using for over 2,000 years. So many are wondering, why are these Japanese really having a long lifespan compared to us? So uh, it's not just by coincidence, but obviously there is something they are doing right that we are mainly not doing actually in our African countries. So, and this perfect remedy, it should actually be without side effects, and it should actually be doing the activity very well. And this perfect remedy is actually nattokinase. Nattokinase is actually an enzyme from natto. Natto is fermented whole soya beans. So in Japan, there is a way they really ferment these soya beans such that it is converted into that natto, and eventually having that enzyme nattokinase, which is very important. Now, for us, the challenge with our soya beans, most of them we get from the supermarket, and they are actually GMOs. They are just genetically modified. Mm? And it is even worse when they are refined. So you actually for women who are in their reproductive age, I would surely advise them against taking that soya, especially the one we get from the supermarket. So, but we are talking about this nattokinase. So, this enzyme in this natto is a very, very, very good. It breaks up these clots. It breaks up these clots. Actually, in one experiment, it was really found out that this nattokinase can break about 88% of the clots in just 6 hours. So, and this nattokinase, it actually has very high fibrolytic activity, meaning it actually breaks even the fibrin and this cholesterol plaque that is clogging our arteries, and it acts against the bad cholesterol, that's the oxidized low density lipoprotein, that's the bad cholesterol. It literally acts against that bad cholesterol. So this nattokinase actually in new researches is used by the ENT surgeons even to break the nasal polyps which are found in the noses. Some people have nasal polyps, and because of its very high this dissolving capacity that it has, and this nattokinase, it actually decreases someone's risk of stroke, because if it dissolves these plaques and improves the blood flow to the brain, actually also reducing the risk of heart attack. If it improves the blood flow to the brain by dissolving these cholesterol plaques, and even the thrombus which are just forming in the bodies, in our arteries. So it really dissolves them, and in that way it highly decreases someone's risk of stroke and heart attack, and it has very high anti-inflammatory effect. Just like we had seen, the process of this plaques forming in our body, it usually starts with the inflammation and the oxidized free radicals and these bad fats adding on these sites of injury, and the plaque starts forming from there. So it has very high anti-inflammatory activity. So, and now the question is, so how do we really get the nattokinase? And because we don't have a traditional of actually preparing the way these Japanese are really doing it. So, and this perfect remedy is actually in this product. This supplement has the biggest component is actually in nattokinase. This supplement, it has the biggest component of nattokinase, and nattokinase which really does that activity of dissolving the thrombus and the clots, and also dissolving the cholesterol plaque, breaking down the fibrin in our cholesterol plaque, and acting against the bad cholesterol, which is the LDL cholesterol. But the why I really admire this product and actually fell in love with it is not only the nattokinase, but it also has another component. We call it OPC. OPC has a very high antioxidation effect. Very high antioxidation effect, actually 50 times that of vitamin E and 20 times that of vitamin C. So this high antioxidation effect together with the nattokinase, it really softens this stiff blood vessel and softens it, especially on the interior side, such that this blood flow is really smooth. Blood flows well in the vessels, and once the blood is flowing well in the vessels, it reduces our risk of the cardiovascular disease. And the other third component that I really like so much, it has very great amounts of vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 is very, very important in our bodies. We take calcium. Here we take calcium in our meals. We know calcium is very important in formation of the bone. The bone is basically formed of calcium. So, but even if you take calcium, you might take calcium and you also actually add vitamin D as well, because vitamin D improves the absorption of the calcium by actually about 20 times. So, but once this calcium has gone into our blood, it should not just be loitering in our blood. Just like we saw the cholesterol plaque, one of the components is actually calcium. When calcium adds to the equation, into the cholesterol plaque, it actually becomes very hard, firm, and stiff. So when now we have something that has very great components of vitamin K2, this vitamin K2 helps to mobilize the calcium from the blood into where it's supposed to be, in the bones. So if you have something that is really breaking down the clots, breaking down the fibrin in these cholesterol plaques, acting against the bad cholesterol, and actually mobilizing the calcium and from the blood, placing it where it's supposed to be, into the bones, then that's really a very perfect component for and a very perfect remedy for our thorough blood cleansing, breaking up these clots, these cholesterol plaques, and totally improving our blood flow and making us free of this contamination of the cholesterol plaques that are in our bodies, which is like now a plague all over. The main problem, we really have these cholesterol plaques in our bodies, impeding our blood flow.